Hello everyone, in this video I'll be reviewing and giving away welding machines from AWithZ. First let's take a look at the portable spot welder AWithZ H2. This is an updated model that isn't available for sale yet, so I want to give it away to one of you. Let's unpack the box and see what's included. By the way, to participate in the giveaway, you need to leave a comment under this video and subscribe to the channel. The giveaway will be held on my Telegram channel after the video reaches 50,000 views. When we open the box, the first thing we see is the welding machine itself. Let's set it aside for now and see what comes next. The next thing the manufacturer included is a nickel strip, which is needed for welding batteries and spare electrodes. And of course there's a USB Type-C charging cable. Next is the user manual, which is written in many languages and it even includes Russian. It clearly explains in detail how to use this device. And the last thing the manufacturer included is 800 grit sandpaper, which is needed to clean the electrodes. Well, now let's move on to reviewing the welding machine itself. On the back panel it says its model is H2, that it charges at 5 volts and 1 amp and outputs 4.2 volts and 1000 amps. At the top there's a power button, a confirmation button and a charging port. There's another button on the side, which is used for manual welding control. Near the electrodes, there's a warning that they get hot and should not be touched. There are screws on the sides, which are used for replacing the electrodes. You just loosen the screw a little and the electrode comes out, so you can clean it or install it the other way around. There are also spare ones included in the set. They are exactly the same. If your first ones are already badly burned, you can simply replace them with the others. Now let's turn on the welding machine and go over its settings. When you turn it on, the screen shows the temperature and battery charge. The menu itself has 4 items. You can select each item using the power button. To enter the selected item, you need to press another button. Now let's go through the settings. The first thing we see is the language selection, but here the most suitable one is English. There's no Russian, although you can figure everything out even in Chinese. Next is turning the volume on or off. After that you can adjust the screen brightness from 1 to 10. The next option is very useful. With it you can rotate the screen by 180 degrees. Next is setting up auto shut-off and restoring factory settings. In the main menu, you can set the preheating time before welding. It is needed to remove the oxide film. It can be set from 1 to 5 seconds. The next option is the welding time after the electrodes touch. That is, you touch the electrodes, and welding will occur, for example, after half a second or up to a maximum of 5 seconds. The item labeled gear is for setting the power. You can set it from 1 to 9. And the last thing is choosing the welding mode, automatic or manual. I also saw in the manual that there are hotkeys here. For example, if you hold down 2 buttons, the screen rotates 180 degrees, and I think that's very convenient for those who are left-handed. When you press it again, the screen rotates back. If you hold down the confirmation button and the side button for manual welding, you can reset to factory settings. Next, we'll cut a piece of nickel strip and try to weld it. I'm using these settings: preheating for 2 seconds activation time, 0.7 and power 2. Now let's take the battery and clean it a bit. This is necessary for a more reliable weld. I'm doing everything according to the instructions, which I recommend everyone read before starting. It also explains how to properly place the electrodes. And the most reliable option is 30 degrees. We take a nickel plate and press it down well. It should lie flat. Just by touching it with the electrodes, the welding is done. This is how it turned out. The plate holds well. Now let's try to tear it off. It came off easily, but the plate is totally destroyed and was welded through. And there are also welding marks on the battery. Next, we'll set the welding power to 5. Let's try welding with these settings. Here you can even see that the spark is much bigger. You can also see from the weld quality that it's deeper and the diameter is bigger. The battery has warmed up a bit. Let's try to tear off the plate again. But here it's already impossible. You could only tear it apart. As you can see, the plate comes off, but the weld spots remain on the battery. Next, I'll set it to maximum, to 9, and try to weld it again. Here the weld spot is already very deep. It's also impossible to tear off the plate like this, but I think this is already too much. This setting is needed for a thicker plate. Now we take a utility knife blade that's 1 mm thick, and let's see if this welder can burn through it. And as you can see, there are small spots on the other side. Well, now let's try how this welder works in manual mode. To weld, after touching the electrodes, you need to press the side button. By the way, I actually like this mode even more. You can position the electrodes where you want them and only then press the button. Overall, I think this welder is quite suitable for home use. It's compact, lightweight, and very comfortable to hold. Another big advantage is that it has a built-in battery, and you can always recharge it with a regular mobile phone charger. It's not possible to buy this welding model yet, so you can try to win it. To do that, leave comments and subscribe to the channel. Now let's review the second welding machine. The second welding machine is also from AWithZ. Its model is UF20B. It's very powerful and is already considered a professional welding machine. Let's unpack it and take a look at its contents. Inside the box, there's another box that contains all of its components. The first thing we see is sandpaper, which is needed for cleaning the electrodes. Next, there's the pedal. It's needed so you can control the welding with your foot. It connects using a thin connector, like the ones used in old chargers. Next is the cable for connecting it to the power supply. It has exactly the same connector as a computer. The manufacturer also included a nickel strip and spare electrodes. And lastly, there are the probes that connect to the welding machine. They are of decent quality and made from thick copper cable. The connectors are different because one of the probes has a button for manual welding control. At the bottom of the box is the welding machine itself. Everything is packed well and securely. There is foam on the sides and the welding machine itself is placed in a bag. As you can see, the set also includes a manual. It is written in many languages, including Russian. Everything here is clear and explained in detail. So be sure to read it before you start working. Next, let's move on to the review of the welding machine itself. Its body is made of aluminum. It weighs about 1 kilogram. There are ventilation grills installed on the back panel. On the side, there is a socket for connecting it to the power supply. All its technical specifications are also written there. What current and voltage it consumes and what it outputs. There is also a warning stating that the probes should not be placed on the positive and negative terminals of the battery. On the front side, there is a 2.4-inch screen. On the left is a connector for pedals. On the right are connectors for welding electrodes. At the top, there is a power button, which also serves as the return button and the confirmation button. Now we connect the cable and need to wait a little over a minute for the supercapacitors inside to charge. While it's charging, you can hear the fans working at the back. After a little more than a minute, charging is complete and the cable can be disconnected. Now for some time, the welding machine can run on the supercapacitors. Next, let's go through its menu. The first item is the mode selection, manual or automatic. The second is setting the preheating time. The third item is setting the welding pulse duration. The fourth is setting the power. The maximum value here is 99. To change by tenths right away, you need to hold down the left button. The fifth item is setting the pre-welding time. And the last one is the number of welding pulses per touch. Now let's go to the settings. In the settings you can change the language, but there is no Russian here either, and the most suitable one is English. Next, you can adjust the pulse length. You can turn the sound on or off, and just like in the previous version, you can adjust the screen brightness from 1 to 10. You can also rotate the screen 180 degrees, but I don't know why you would need that here. In the previous welder, it made sense, but here it's really inconvenient. The last settings are for setting the auto off time and resetting to factory settings. Now let's connect the probes and move on to testing the welder. The right probe, the one with the button, needs to be connected carefully so you don't break its extra contact. The left probe connects easily. By the way, replacing the welding electrodes here is very convenient. You just need to use pliers to pull out a special collet clamp and then you can remove the electrode itself from it. Thanks to this mounting method, it is securely fixed and provides good contact. Next, I set the preheating time, leave the pulse duration unchanged, set the power to 10 and try to weld something. Unlike the previous welder, this one is a bit inconvenient to work with because you have to hold the electrodes with both hands. But it also welds pretty well and it has much more power. At a power of 10, it's already impossible to tear off the plate without breaking it. Let's increase the power to 30. At this power, the weld spot becomes much deeper and larger in diameter. Next, I set all the values to maximum and enable double pulse welding. Now I take a thick blade from a utility knife and let's see if the welding can burn through it. As you can see, there were 2 welding pulses. The blade has completely burned through and the welding power is high. Let's try welding several nickel strips together. I haven't changed the power, it's still set to maximum. Everything got welded, but the power is too high because there's a hole burned through the plates. I'm setting it to manual mode and will check how it works. For welding with the electrode, you already need to press the button. This mode is also very useful because you can conveniently set the electrodes. Everything welds just as reliably. With these same settings, you can connect a pedal. And now, for welding, instead of pressing the button on the electrode, you need to press the pedal. Overall, I think this welding machine is pretty good, but it's designed for professionals. However, if someone wants to buy it, all the links will be in the description. Personally, I like the first welding machine. It's compact, convenient, and works great. Thank you all for watching and goodbye.